I picked up some of this garlic from a person at the local farmer's market about a week ago. I also picked up this garlic from an organic local health food store. Let's get these things prepped and ready to go into the raised bed. It's so strange for me to be thinking about planting things in October, which is what it is right now. It's currently October. In Wisconsin in Zone 4B, our gardens are done at this point. Everything's been harvested, processed, put inside, usually by the end of September. We can even have snow sometimes this point in October. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bulbs of garlic to plant, and obviously multiple cloves within each bulb. So now it's time to take all the skins off of here, and then I'll set them in this bowl and we should be ready to start planting. I'm trying to be really careful so I don't wreck anything. Some of these cloves are a really good size like this, and those are the ones I'm going for. I want big cloves so they create big bulbs in the garden. And look at this one. This one's really big. That's one that you definitely want to plant. If you compare that to one like this, you can obviously see the difference. I'm deciding to plant the garlic right here in this raised bed, which is 4 feet by 8 feet. It probably doesn't matter which raised bed I use. They're all going to work just fine, and they're completely open right now because we've harvested everything since it's October. This is what my garden looks like after harvest. Everything's completely removed. It's fall, leaves are falling. We've given them to the chickens over there. Nothing's here. These are strawberry plants over here, so those will just go dormant until next spring. And I've got one broccoli plant that's hanging on for dear life. I'm rooting for you, buddy. You can do it. Since I'm new to this, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and that's how I learn. I eventually got most of the cloves taken off of the bulbs. Some of them I brought inside just because they're so small, and we'll just eat those for whatever, tonight or tomorrow. But generally, I got some nice bulbs that were kind of like this size right here. And I made some mistakes by not keeping all of the skin on the garlic. Like I said, I'm going to make mistakes. You're supposed to keep the skin on the garlic. And so now what I'm trying to do is figure out the spacing. I think it needs to go 4 inches in the ground. I saw a study that shows that 4 inches will give you the best results for your garlic. So the depth isn't an issue, but being the first time, I want to make sure I get the spacing correct. I have looked all over the internet, and as you probably know, when you research, you get different answers, and you get sometimes the same results and sometimes different results. And what I found was that some people say you need to space out garlic by 6 inches to give it a lot of space, at least 6, because it likes to bulb up, just like something would grow underneath, like potatoes, for example, and needs space and room to kind of spread out in the soil. The other information that I found was that a lot of people are saying you need to go 2 inches apart. So instead of going 2 inches apart or 6 inches, I'll probably go between 4 and 6 inches just to be safe. I want to make sure that we have a decent first harvest with all of this garlic here that's going into this raised bed. The reason why I chose today to plant the garlic and not next week or the week after is actually because it's in the 70s right now, and I think it's around October 19th or 20th. That's important because I want the roots to establish before we get really hard ground and everything's frozen up. We've already had a frost here in Wisconsin, which isn't a huge deal. It is best to plant them before you get a frost. That way the roots can kind of get established. I'm going to take the pointy side and just place it into this hole right here. Gently cover it up. People often get garlic because they love the taste. Almost everything you put garlic on tastes better. However, I get it mainly because of the natural medicinal properties. Garlic is very good for your gut, very good for your immune system. There's times when I'm not feeling well, I might have a cold or flu or something like that, and I will actually cut up garlic in small pieces and just swallow it with a glass of water because I want the direct effects from the garlic. You can get pills as well, but I do that because I want to have a really healthy immune system that's very strong. So taking garlic, even 1 pill a day or eating garlic every single day, is a really good idea to boost your immune system. So for me, that's the main reason, and it also tastes really good on meals too. So I'm just going along here, nothing to it. This soil is usually pretty good. I may need to spruce it up a little bit more in the spring with some fertilizer and whatnot, but It's pretty easy to work with. There's a lot of leaves on top because I mulch everything with leaves so heavily during the summer to avoid things drying out. Some weeds here. This bed had peppers, sweet potatoes. What else did it have? Oh, actually it's dug up a sweet potato right there, little one. And all kinds of things in it. Butternut squash as well. So now it's going to be for garlic. Taking again that pointy side, making sure it's up, and then just loosely putting this on here. I may give this a soak when I'm done with the hose too, just to get things started a little bit. It won't get cold until a few days from now, so I don't think that should affect it at all. And again, all I am doing is digging down, loosening up the soil a bit. I'll hold the dirt over to the right, take this pointy side of the garlic, place it down firmly in there, and just loosely put the dirt on top. And I just go up 2 feet, and then I work my way back toward the camera over that way. Now, to increase the chance of all of these little garlic cloves coming up and producing good bulbs for us and setting a good root system within the next couple of weeks before it gets too cold, we have to add something to this. Feels weird, it's toward the end of October, I'm wearing shorts and Crocs right now, picking up leaves and planting stuff in a garden bed. It's very strange. You need to have some type of mulch, in my opinion, to let this garlic really establish itself, and it's going to be a bit of a buffer between the frost and the cold and the garlic cloves themselves. That's really important. Mulch is an amazing thing all season long, no matter when you're growing anything, whether it's in the fall or in the spring or summer like most people do normally. So I just took a quick lap, picked up some leaves with my riding lawnmower, and it should be leaf mulch, not just leaves. So if you're raking up leaves, you want to break those down a little bit. The reason for that is because broken up leaves are going to break down faster, and the leaves that are full are going to leave like a layer on top of the garden, and it's going to be kind of like slimy and stuff. So I like to put good layer of leaves, organic matter, on the raised bed so that it protects everything. This will all break down over winter, just carbon, and that's going to make your garden a lot better as well. The soil is going to break down and incorporate into the soil. A lot of people are afraid that by mulching with carbon, you end up robbing the soil of nutrients, nitrogen specifically. You do on the top layer, but where the root system is on plants, that does not get affected by it. That's why there's a lot of people that are against wood chip gardening. But what you're doing is you're actually giving back to the soil, because this all breaks down. Think of this falling in the woods. It breaks down naturally. Now I know in the woods you're growing perennials, not annuals, but the same concept applies. You want to make sure you cover your soil. It's the way God intended it to be. If you look at nature, it's covered. You don't walk in the woods and it's bare soil, bare dirt. It's covered with something, leaves, pine needles, whatever. So now we have this all figured out. We've got all of our garlic in there in a 4x8 raised bed, and we have all of our mulch on here for the winter. Last thing I might do is just spray this down with a hose quick. That way it settles down real nice and it doesn't blow away, especially on a windy day today. If you like what you saw here and you want to see my results in June, stick with me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to increase your quality and to learn a few things. And then next June 2025, you can come back and look at this many, many months from now to see how well this garlic actually grew in this raised bed. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again in the next one.